Oppo recently launched the A5s in the Indian market at a price of 9,990 rupees, putting it against some of the most value for money smartphones in the market, like the Asus ZenFone Max Pro M2 and the Xiaomi Redmi Note 7. The Oppo A5s has a MediaTek Helio P35 SoC. It also gets 2 GB of RAM and 32 GB of internal storage. This phone packs in a big 4230 mAh battery, which should help it deliver good battery life. Now, for the price, does it offer good value for money, or should you consider the alternatives? We put this to the test to find out. Oppo's latest budget offering, the A5s, is light and has a plastic build. The first thing that will grab your attention is the big 6.2-inch in-cell display with a water drop notch. It sports HD+ resolution and has a 19:9 aspect ratio. It has decent viewing angles but does not get really bright when outdoors. You do have the option to adjust the color tone of the display in the settings. It has thin bezels on the sides, but the bottom chin is comparatively thicker. The power button is on the right side of the device and is well positioned, making it easy to reach. The volume rockers are on the left and are within reach as well. All three buttons offer good feedback, so you won't be double guessing an input. At the bottom, it has a loudspeaker grill, micro USB port and a 3.5mm headphone jack. The top of the phone is bare, while the SIM tray slot is to the left. Oppo offers the A5s with a dual nano SIM slot and a dedicated micro SD card slot. The A5s has a dual camera setup at the back and a fingerprint scanner. Powering the Oppo A5s is the MediaTek Helio P35 SoC. This is a new processor with 8 Cortex A53 cores clocked at 2.3 GHz and is based on a 12nm process. Oppo has launched the A5s in one variant only, 2 GB of RAM and 32 GB of storage. In terms of software, the A5s runs ColorOS 5.2 on top of Android 8.1 Oreo. This is a dated version of Android, and we would have preferred the newer ColorOS 6, which runs on top of Android 9 Pie. Our review unit was running the March security patch but got an update to the recent April security patch. The A5s does not have an app launcher and all the icons are available right at the home screen. Oppo does ship the A5s with some bloatware pre-installed. It had Facebook, Opera, Phone Manager, Theme Store, Music Party and GameSpace pre-installed. GameSpace adds compatible games automatically and gives you the option to lock brightness and block banner notifications. A couple of Google apps are also pre-installed, but you can go ahead and uninstall all these apps to free up some space. Since there is theme support on the A5s, you can change the way the device looks with free to download themes. Smart Sidebar is also present, which is a pop-out tray with app shortcuts that can be launched from any screen. Gestures are available that let you launch apps by drawing alphabets when the screen is off. The Oppo A5s offers decent performance for the hardware it has on board. It is capable of handling easy tasks like scrolling through the menus, launching apps without any issues. But multitasking isn't that snappy. We found that the phone had to relaunch apps since it can't keep a lot of apps running in the background. Based on the benchmark scores, we can say that the Helio P35 SoC is slightly more powerful than the MediaTek Helio P22 SoC that is powering the Redmi 6. The fingerprint scanner positioned at the back of the Oppo A5s is easy to reach and quick to unlock the phone. The smartphone also has the face unlock feature where it uses the selfie camera to quickly unlock the smartphone. We like the display on the Oppo A5s but found the loudspeaker to be a little hollow. Now, the loudspeaker is below compared to the other smartphones we have tested in the same price range. We played PUBG Mobile on the Oppo A5s, which defaulted to the lowest settings. Since GameSpace was enabled, the phone would clear RAM every time the game was launched. However, the phone still took slightly longer to load this game. We did notice occasional lag and stutter while playing PUBG and had to lower the frame rate to low to make it smooth. After playing PUBG Mobile for 20 minutes, we observed a 4% battery drain, which is acceptable. The 4230 mAh battery on the smartphone coupled with the efficient Helio P35 SoC results in excellent battery life. In our HD video loop test, the phone managed to go on for close to 24 hours. With our usage, which consisted of playing PUBG Mobile, WhatsApp and using Google Maps for navigation, we could use the smartphone for 2 days before needing it to be plugged in. The supplied 10-watt charger takes over 2 hours to charge the phone up completely. The Oppo A5s has a dual camera setup at the back consisting of a 13 megapixel primary sensor with an f2.2 aperture and a 2 megapixel depth sensor with an f2.4 aperture. At the front, it has an 8 megapixel selfie shooter with an f2.0 aperture. We found the camera app on the Oppo A5s easy to use. It has portrait and pano modes apart from the photo and video modes. The default photo mode has quick toggles for flash, HDR, timer and filters which you can apply before clicking a photo. There is face beauty toggle as well, which is switched off by default, but you can set it to AI or set the level of beautification you need manually. It also has a button for 2x digital zoom. In daylight, the Oppo A5s is capable of metering light correctly. Photos had the right exposure, but objects at a distance lost out on details. The phone was quick to focus when clicking macros and managed decent separation between the subject and the background. Macros had average detail and were not so sharp. While clicking photos in portrait mode, we found that the edge detection was hit or a miss and wasn't consistent. The camera performance took a dip in low light. The phone would take slightly longer to lock focus and the resultant image wasn't bright. The Oppo A5s managed to keep noise under control, but fine grain was visible on zooming in. Photos clicked in low light, however, lacked detail. Selfies clicked from the phone had good detail and are good enough to go on social media directly. Video recording maxes out at 1080p for both the primary as well as the selfie shooter, but lacks video stabilization, so you will have to deal with a shaky output. The Oppo A5s is positioned in the sub 10,000 rupee segment but faces some very stiff competition. The highlight of the A5s is the battery life, and it can go on for close to 2 days before needing to be plugged in. We found the camera performance to be acceptable, but we have seen better cameras at this price point. Finally, the 2GB of RAM is a bottleneck and feels low compared to what you get in the market. If you won't be gaming on your smartphone but you value battery life, the Oppo A5s is a good phone to pick. But if you value performance, the Redmi Note 7 and the Asus ZenFone Max Pro M2 offer much more for the same price. And that was our review of the Oppo A5s. Now what do you think about this smartphone? Let us know in the comment section down below. And as always, for all things tech, stay tuned to gadgets360.com.